Afternoon guys, James here from Sunseeker Southampton. Dreary afternoon down at Sunseeker Poole HQ at the shipyard, but what a tour we have for you this afternoon. How do you take a product and make it even better? Well, behind me here I have the first of the new Manhattan 55s. What we took is a Manhattan 52, one of the most successful, if not the most successful boat ever built by Sunseeker. 150 plus hulls built, running from 17 through to 2020. Last one I sold middle of the summer to the UK here. Always nervous when you do a revision to a successful model. How do you make it better? The boat worked really well. There was very little changes through its evolutionary life cycle, but actually I have to say, hats off to the factory. First look around this today, it does look fantastic. They listened to feedback from the customer, lots of little tweaks, lots of subtle changes, really almost seamless to the point that you wouldn't notice it if it wasn't pointed out, but also a new interior look, very much with the Italian styling that we've seen come through with the Predator 55 Evo, the 60 Evo, and some of the other boats coming through the range over the coming months. So today we're going to have a look round for the first time. Really exciting. From the outside, I have to say, it doesn't really look too dissimilar to the 52. It was a very stylish Flybridge boat, 17.2 metres overall, tip to tip, fits nicely on a Mediterranean mooring, also works really well here in the UK. We've upgraded actually from the engines that used to be in her, which was the D11 725s. So we've now gone to a D13 800 engine as the single option, working really well, just giving it a little bit more power. Boat was doing around 30 knots with the old engines. Certainly if you start putting a Williams on the back and all the additional weight, if you're putting gyros in and lots of Mediterranean kit, just gives it a little bit more oomph, low down torque to help it get up and go. So if I just spin the camera around, here she is. So the whole windows are exactly the same as they were before. We've now got a new carbon fibre engine vent in the back there. We've swapped the paraffin guardrail here for a nice solid stainless steel. And I say fundamentally looks very similar to the outgoing boat. I did several painted options on the engine vents on the previous boats. Obviously factory have listened to what owners have been requesting, so that's a nice exposed weave. I say externally looks very similar. They've gone with the lignia wood, which is a sustainable alternative to teak, and this particular boat spec'd with it up on the side decks and also on the Flybridge. Just as the light's starting to fade here, you can see how it sets off really nicely with the outside LED lighting. Really brightens the boat up, even on a grim overcast day like today. Really special looking boat. So platform on the back, that will lift 450 kilos, although the suggested recommendation from the factory, if you go with a gyro stabilizer, is to reduce that to 150 kilos. And then on the stern here, we've got the beach club option, always very popular on the 52s. You just pop this one up. You've got a rain shower in the roof there. This locker was designed to take a sea bob. And then next to it, an electric griddle and a little preparation area. And then beneath that, a nice little seat. Just giving somewhere to connect with the water, sit on the back and watch the kids whilst they're in and out of the water. And then really more of a storage room on anything at this size. But we have a crew cabin as an option. I have to say nearly all the boats, certainly everything I sold, had a crew cabin spec'd out. This particular one, no different. So we've got a wet room floor finish here, makes it very practical for dragging canopy bags. You see those are canopy bags there. And additional storage and what have you. Handy to have the shower compartment at the end just for washing off rather than going through the boat. We've got the option of the Siemens washer dryer down there, little hand basin, etc. I say they can be used, popular charter boat, so run with just a single captain on board, or an owner perhaps with less experience who just wants to take an ad hoc crew member away with them through the summer cruise. So we've got, as part of the med pack, a second set of low down cleats here, obviously standard cleats up top, docking winches. There's a letterbox mounted passerelle for access onto the quayside, and then we've got the shore power socket here. Also things like a secondary swimming shower If you're using the boat in the UK, this can all be enclosed, so we've got a canopy that comes around on the track here in the ceiling with roll-up doors both sides, obviously access into the cockpit through both the port and the starboard here. We've got nice secure gates, and we can add additional little sockets in there if you want to keep kids and dogs in. Really, we should run a test here to see, those of you that watch my regular videos, where the changes are. But the main one in the aft cockpit here, so this is now a single pane door. Before we used to have two doors that folded across and a small window. We've now got this giant opening space in front of the two chairs. We get a little bit more working room here in the cockpit. So with the drop down panel as it is currently, we've then got this lovely worktop come bar area. Galley has changed quite a bit. So before you used to come in and you were straight into the side of the galley, and then we had refrigeration in the corner. See, it feels a lot more open in here. I'm just going to stand with the camera facing forward so you can kind of take in that vast space. It's a real beamy boat. We're running 4.87 meters window to window down in the hull band. So I think this works really well. I was nervous seeing it in the drawings for the first time. They also did this with a couple of optional stools inside that stow underneath the counter. I was a little bit worried about it being light on storage, but I have to say the stools in the cockpit here I think work really well, and in this configuration gives additional worktop prep area. I might look to do something maybe with a stone top on here as an option. Say these are very much a bespoke build, lots of factory spec choices, so we can get the boat exactly as you wish. So as per the 52, we've got this lovely teak top table. There's some storage underneath the seats here. And just whilst the rain stopped, I'm going to have a head up on the foredeck. This is much of a muchness to the 52. It's a really great zone. Not much really we could do to improve it. So this particular boat with the teak side decks works really nicely. And then up here, we've got that lovely big U-shaped seating area. So owners telling us you get 10 or 12 guests that squeeze up here when you haven't got your social distancing to worry about. Loads of space. It can all be left out, so you get covers over the top. There's storage lockers in these two here for ropes. This table drops down, and then there's an infill cushion that basically comes across where those lights are, and that gives you an additional sun pad. And then up forward here, we've got a single winch, great size anchor locker. You can see a separate area there for putting fenders up forward, and a nice little handy rail there to tie the lines off. Really nice looking boats. Feels very safe when you're up here. You can see the rails are almost at my waist height. If I just duck down, you imagine walking down here with drinks in hand on a tray, or with kids accompanying you. It feels very safe at all times, never exposed. We did quite a few owners ask for additional rails up top here, just to give extra sure-footedness for those that are less agile on their feet, and that's no problem. I've also done some rails in here before, just to aid getting on and off the side decks. And then we'll go up top and do the Flybridge. So we've got a good, very wide stairs rather than a ladder, so easy access here, forwards, up and down the stairs. And this is vast. There's nothing really in this size range, I have to say honestly, that competes with this. For space up top, it is phenomenal. Easy space for 12 people up here. You've got acres of room around that table. There's even room here for a couple of director's chairs if you wish. Up top we've got a 64 nautical mile halo radar, things like the aerial for the onboard Wi-Fi system, twin VHF aerials, part of the AIS system. Upholstery on this particular boat is a Silvertex silver colour, lovely little detailed stitch here. And then opposite, this is a new wet bar. So they've taken feedback, a little bit difficult to open the lid on the old one. So we've got a nice recessed handle there. This particular one being a sink. And then you've got space here if you wish to add another wet bar top, which you could put a griddle into. Obviously this boat's got it down on the beach club, so not necessarily a requirement for both. And then we've got the big stainless steel fridge and an ice maker, detailing in the doors here, so just to give an increased feeling of quality. A lot easier to shut this with. I used to hear it at boat shows. Time after time it would drop on your fingers if you weren't expecting it. Nice little cupboard in the end, which would otherwise be dead space. And then up forward we've got seating, further social space. There's option to put a little table in here, storage underneath this cushion, there's a locker, and then a vast sun pad again up forward. Loads of room for lounging out, nice seat in front of the helm. You'll see hidden in here is an acrylic lift up screen, so it's just an additional windbreak for those days where it's not quite so nice, you want to stop getting buffeted. Handy socket there, so it's a twin socket for charging your phone. Nice detailing here on the seats as per the previous 52. Premium Simrad navigation pack, so these are the two 12-inch colour multifunction displays. Of course we've got proportional bow and stern thrusters. This particular boat's got the Zenta joystick system, so that's manipulating throttle, thruster, steering controls to give you complete manoeuvrability of the boat from one control. If you imagine stood at the helm here, we can actually see down the back to the platform. We can see all the way from the stern right up to the bow, so it's a very, very, very good helm. Really ergonomic, everything's nicely to hand. This is your autopilot. We've got push button switches for lighting. And then up above for sun protection, there's a bimini frame here. So this is a manual one. There's options also for hydraulic system and also for a further upgrade to a hard top if you wish. Most of these owners, I have to say, electing for the standard manual version. So you notice now we can come back down the stairs forward. And let's take a look where the main changes have gone about, which is here in the interior. So this particular boat finished in a two-tone wood. We've got the new smoked eucalyptus wood satin finish here on the bulk of the cabinetry, and then here on the starboard side we've got the contrast with the silver oak. Cadorin hardwood floor here in the galley area is standard, just makes it a little bit more practical for in and out. And then I have to say, I think this works really well. There's a lot of storage here where you start looking. You imagine for longer periods away on the boat, we've got drawers running here top to bottom. We've got a drinks fridge as a feature, and then massive refrigeration. These are fridge stroke freezer drawers, so the two at the back here are the standard option, and then again we come forward and we've got two further drawers, so no excuse really for bottle storage. Everything from your water, alcohol and food provisions. There's loads of cupboards. When you start looking, the boat's absolutely full of storage. We're on EU 2-pin sockets, easy enough to change out for UK sockets if you wish. We've got a slimline dishwasher here. Storage cupboard there goes right back into the corner, that's got a bin in it. Up top here, these are for the obligatory Royal Dalton crockery and tea set. Upgrade now to a 1.5 bowl sink, which is nice for draining off if you're using the boat for preparing food on board. And we've got this nice little drainer built into the top. It's a nice touch. 4-burner Miele electric top and a big convection microwave oven there. That's your cutlery underneath the oven there, and then we've got glasses storage, Dartington crystal of course. You notice a lot more stainless steel, so we've got little inlaid bands here, nice stainless steel handrail, so it feels very safe at sea. And then this was a real worry for us where they were talking about additional connectivity into systems, the requirement to have TVs out all the time. This boat used to have a sofa in here which worked really well, but a lot of markets that don't sit inside so much were saying it's completely dead space, what could you do better? And I have to say, I think this works really nicely. The sofa here is removable, so that can be brought out, turned around 90 degrees and put on the table here for dining, or tucked back in the corner as it is now. There's storage inside it as well. And the TV is becoming much more integrated into the system, so you'll start to see Sunseeker apps controlling the HVAC system, AV, etc., which is all done through the TV. So we've got a Sonos soundbar down here. It's a 55-inch TV. And then beneath we've got, again, storage. These are painted in a nice high gloss sort of aubergine colour. DVD player. Upgrade on the carpet here. And then some nice stainless steel inlays in the table. It's a much bigger table. If we just sit here, you've got loads of room round. I reckon we'd get 8 people around this table if we wanted to for dining. There's room here on the side, I say, to put the sofa here, which literally is a freestanding unit, so that comes out. And then you've got storage in the bottom, very handy. Just spin that round. You can see how that works really nicely on the dining table. So then we come up to the helm. The actual helm itself looks very similar. Big glass windscreen, opening side window there next to the driver, which gives you a great position here. Nice and high up, you can see all the way round. Panoramic through all that glass, you can see all the way to the back of the boat. And as part of that premium pack we mentioned upstairs, we've got two. These are 16-inch multifunction displays, give you all sorts of systems from chart, radar, AIS, depth, onboard systems. This is looking at through the NMEA system. Some of the monitoring system. Again, proportional thrusters, autopilot, and that Zenta joystick. Additional upgrade on this particular boat, we've got the multifunction ISOTA steering wheel. So this is giving control for those screens from the wheel itself, which is nice, not having to lean forward. There's an iPad mini that comes in that bracket there to give you control of the climate system whilst you're moving around the boat, and the AV. This is the CM8 monitoring panel, so this is giving you readouts for temperatures and pressures and what have you. There's a wireless charging dock for your mobile phone, a couple of little plugins there for the auxiliary input on your phone if you haven't got Bluetooth for any reason. And then opposite here, nice big handy storage bins for charts and general boating paraphernalia. New touch of the lights in the ceiling here, just like the 68 Manhattan. Real quality feel in here. I have to say, I really like this interior. Works really nicely with the two-tone wood. It's not too overpowering with a lot of the dark wood in here. Really has lifted the boat from what was already hugely successful. So let's head on down. Accommodation, 3 cabins. Almost unrivaled in this size was to get twin beds into the third cabin rather than bunks. Works really well, and you can see here why. It's a great cabin whether you've got kids or 2 adults on board. We have done a few with a fill-in cushion here to make a permanent double. New touchscreen Weimar panels to do the lighting. We've got these nice feature reading lights, still maintaining things like the storage up top. Sonance speakers, part of the Sonos Connect system. Apple TV in all the cabins. Good size wardrobe here. 24-inch TV on the bulkhead there. This is control for the HVAC system, say the lighting. So these 2 cabins sharing a heads compartment over here on the port side. They actually moved the bulkhead around in here. It feels a lot bigger than it used to. It's a clever use of space. Again, that soaker shower up in the roof. I'll just stand in here. You can feel there's loads of room in here. Space if you wanted to put an electric heated towel rail up on the bulkhead there above the loo. So we've got storage in all these top level cupboards. What we got down here, so there's some storage, a nice little bin, that's a new touch. Upgrade on the worktops here, new style tap and basin, of course a vacuum flush toilet system. So this is Jack and Joe access, either here off the lobby or also in through directly from the VIP guest, which is this forward cabin with the centerline double bed. Feels a lot bigger. We're probably about a 1.6 metre bed in here, I would say. High level storage here, runs all the way around the boat. Clever how they brought those out, so that would normally just go all the way back into the corner. They've actually brought these out to give a bit more usable space. Then we've got a wardrobe, drawer underneath. Again, Sonance speakers up in the ceiling, detailed LED reading lights there, new feature headboard on the master bed, very contemporary with these colours, lots of purples and aqua blues. Lots of space for putting things out, say vanity station, what have you. So corner cupboard on the starboard. There's a 43-inch TV up on the wall there. Slimline cupboard there. You'll notice by the bed also we do this quite often these days, option to switch to USB sockets. Lots of floor traps here, so we'll of course look at all the gory bits behind the scenes. If I can get the carpet protectors up here. So we've got an additional larger grey water tank, additional larger black water tank, aircon in the crew cabin, further to the main cabin accommodation. You see all this is lit and nicely finished, so there's plenty of room for storing kind of long-term provisions, bits and pieces down here. This forward one is probably the bow thruster. Yep, again lit, nice easy access in there, plenty of room to put some those bags that you can stick a vacuum cleaner onto and suck down for storage. And then we come back to the master cabin. As I mentioned earlier, say beam to beam, it's a very wide boat, taking full advantage of those massive windows and these beautiful new picture frame style with the LED lighting up there. We've got Roman blinds as an upgrade in here, lovely big opening port light, and just taking in the decor in here. It's a very, very nice cabin, very quiet, midships on the boat, very little water slap on the hull. This particular option now has the option with the two tub chairs, which are a little bit more refined with the corner finish rather than just a square edge, and that little table. And then we've got a wardrobe that tucks back in the corner there, some shelving underneath, storage cupboards here, pull out bedside drawers, again keeping that nautical blues and what have you in the decor. And then up top here, this works really nicely, this sideboard, so you've got a contrast with the top level drawers. There's a digital safe down there, space underneath here as well for clothing, makes it a very usable space. A ginormous TV on the forward bulkhead here, looks like a 55-inch TV with a Sonos soundbar, again with a nice detailed LED lighting and a surround sound system. So very, very little missing on this boat. So she's even got the gyro option, so absolutely loaded up. There's nothing really apart from potentially a retrofit water maker. It's got the preparation in there already if you want to take the boat to other parts of the world where the water supply isn't quite so plentiful. And last by no means least, we'll have a look in the engine bay. So accessed as always through the cockpit sole here. We've got a ladder that we can go down forwards or backwards. And we've got this nice companionway through the middle here, which makes access very easy. You can see that this is the gyro sat in the middle. Upgrade on the generator, so 17.5 kilowatt from the standard 11 kilowatt. These are your main breaker panels, everything nicely labelled. See back there into a service area for the cartridge for the water maker, for the hydraulic systems for the platform, passerelle, etc. Everything's very neat and tidy down here. There you have it. Starting price of the boat, £1,070,000 ex tax. This particular boat loaded up, we're about 1.41 million. So that's quite a high spec. We're about 20, I think that's about 24% of extras. I say that gyro contributing a large part to that. Not necessarily required depending on where you do your boating, but it's a very nice luxury to have if you can warrant the expenditure and you don't mind carting around the extra weight that brings on board. I say it's a real exciting boat, this 55. Very, very hard to beat that outgoing 52, but I have to say I think the factory have absolutely smashed it. This is a fantastic option. Whether you're starting out on boating, you've got a small family, you want the security, if you want this as your floating villa overseas where you don't want to have an apartment, and it's much more about life on board. You've got loads of room for staying on holiday for 2 or 3 weeks at a time, loads of storage. So I have to say it's a really good option. So we try and keep the first one back. This was going to Düsseldorf Boat Show before the show got cancelled. So she is actually available, say literally just off the testing line here at the factory. And it's an opportunity really to beat the waiting list. If we miss this one, you're really into the early summer for these, rolling off the line almost one a week when they're up to speed. So it will be surely a hugely popular model for us. So if you'd like to know anything more about this particular boat or anything else in the range, obviously the step up from this going to 4 cabins, a little bit more space and approximately twice the price is into the 68 Manhattan. And on the Predator style will be the 55 Evo that's come along to match this, also launching in the early part of 21 season. So I've got lots of photos, a Matterport tour, 3D walk round that we conducted on the boat earlier today. So if you'd like to know any more, say drop me an email to james@sunseekersouthampton.com. On my mobiles, +44 7747 686 587. So we can host you at the factory here, as there may not be an opportunity to see this particular boat in the flesh anytime soon at an international show, given the current travel restrictions. So these video viewings really are going to be your best chance to come see what it's all about. Of course, we have other boats here at the factory that you can come see at the same time. So I hope you've enjoyed that tour today. I say it's a really exciting boat to finally get a chance to see her up close and personal. Been watching this with interest over the last few months as it really fits the marinas that I sell into, mainly here in the UK, and our med customers when they grow and want to venture further afield. So it's I say it's a really nice option. I hope you've enjoyed sharing that with us today, and if you'd like to know any more, please get in touch.